Hey everybody, welcome to Edge Note 50 TV. Edge Note 50 TV, Mike in the house, and we're going to be talking about boxing. So, hey, there is, we're going to be talking about lots of things that's been happening. I've been posting a few videos yesterday. I was on it yesterday, posting a few videos, so we're going to talk about that. Look, there's lots of boxing to talk about. Let's talk about it. If you're watching this for the first time, hit that subscribe button and that notification button because I'm doing shows every week. Soon I'm going to try and do shows every day. I'm going to be on the grind, on the hustle, boxing news 24/7. Where there's boxing, that's where I'm going to be at. So let's talk about it. Well, we're going to talk about Luis Ortiz's fight against Christian Hammer. We're going to be talking about Lara versus Castillo. I know last week I said I probably weren't going to see it, but I thought, yeah, why not? If I'm watching Luis Ortiz versus Christian Hammer, then I might as well watch Lara Castillo. So I went and watched both of them. So we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about, a little bit about Next Gen Show as well. I saw a couple of fights on there. And we're going to be talking about Dillian White and the Twitter beef, Instagram beef, all the beef was going on with Lawrence Okoli. What's going on there? Plus more. James DeGale's retirement. I haven't spoken about that yet. I did talk about it last week, Monday, before he retired, but I haven't spoken about it since then. Carl Froch's comments, so much stuff to talk about. So we're going to be talking about it. If people want to jump on, they can jump on and send the link. But yeah. So let's get cracking. So first up, I'm going to talk about James DeGale's retirement. I didn't talk about it last week. I mean, we talk about so much stuff, it forgot to cross my mind. So I'm going to talk about it now and say, look, we knew it was coming. We knew it was happening. But looking back, James DeGale can say he's had a great career. I put on the social media who had the better career, George Groves or James DeGale. And I said out of the two who had the best career, I would say is James DeGale, because at the end of the day, James DeGale has made history. He's going to be the first person to win an Olympic gold medal and win a world champion and win a world super middleweight championship. He's the first person to do it. So no matter what happens and no matter how his career ended, he's always going to be in the history books as the first person to do it. Whereas George Groves, yes, he's had a more consistent career. I mean, he's performed well, but, he only won the world championship belt late. And, and he's had a few fights, few defenses, but, he lost, he beat Chris Eubank Jr., which, let's face it, I don't really rate him that highly, and he lost to Callum Smith. So, yes, he can say he's had a good career because he eventually won a world championship, which he was always going for, but overall, the person that's made the most history is James DeGale because he won Olympic gold and he won a world championship belt. So, overall, he can look back at his career and say, look, he did what he had to do. Considering where he was, when he lost to George Groves earlier on in his career, people wasn't expecting him to do great things. He was fighting in leisure centers. He was starting from the bottom and he had to work his way up from scratch. And when he went up the rankings. He went up from scratch. He faced, was it Anthony Durrell? Is it Andre Durrell? Anthony Durrell? I forgot which one his name is. He faced one of the Durrell brothers anyways, and he beat him. And, and he won a world championship title. And he fought Badou Jack. He should have beaten Badou Jack, but because of the knockdown at the final round, he got the draw. So overall, he can look back at his career and say, well done. And he knew when to quit. He's not them fighters that, when you lose to Chris Eubank Jr., your time is up. And, yep, he retired at the right time. And, he can look back, hopefully, I did say before that I don't want to see him again in TV. But, hey, if he does commentary roles for ITV or whatnot, then it wouldn't bother me. I mean, I saw George Groves doing commentary. He looked very nervous on the commentary. But, hopefully James DeGale will be doing some stuff in boxing still and still involved in it. Anyways, that's what I wanted to say about George Groves because, James DeGale. I didn't say that last time. Hey, if you're liking the show, hit that like button, man. We need some visibility up in here. You know what I mean? So what do you guys think of James McGill's retirement in his career in the chat? If you guys think he had a better career than Jules Groves, leave some comments in there as well. All right, so let's talk about the fights over the weekend. So you got what? Let's start with Lara versus normally I start with the undercard first, but then go to Lara versus Castillo later. But Lara versus Castillo, let's talk about that because that's going to be very quick. Yeah, it was a draw, as you can see from the pictures, but I wasn't impressed by either one of them. Lara was very slow. He was with the jab, and then Castillo was looking to get into the inside and throw combinations, and that was pretty much the whole of the fight. Castillo had some success. Lara had some success. I think it was a draw. People can call it either way. People can say Lara, people can say Castillo, but I would say, mate, look, if it edged it to Castillo, I'll be happy with it. If it went to Lara, I wouldn't be as happy with it. But with the draw, I'm overall happy with the draw. Where do these guys go from here? Should they have a rematch? I don't think they should have a rematch. I wouldn't be interested in watching it again. It was a boring fight. I was watching it and it was putting me to sleep. And you have to think about this as well. Yeah. In the UK, we're watching this at 3-4 o'clock in the morning. So we're watching this at 3-4 o'clock in the morning. This fight has to be entertaining for us to stay awake. And I was struggling to stay awake at that time watching this fight. My eyes was closed. I was struggling badly. I was thinking I need some drugs, coffee, something to keep me awake to watch this fight. But yeah, I mean, so look, it is what it is. Lara versus Castillo. Lara has gone down. He has declined in his performances. I don't think he can challenge for a world championship belt again. But could he beat a Charlo right now? Nope. Could he beat Jared Hurd? He tried it. He didn't do it. And Castillo had a belt. He couldn't beat him. So I don't think Lara can challenge at those elite levels anymore. And can Castillo challenge a Charlo or challenge a Jamie Munguia? Can he challenge a Jared Hurd? I don't even know. So I don't think he could challenge any of those guys either. I think he's like right at the bottom of the totem pole in regards to those elite fighters there. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. In regards to those, leave it in the comments. What do you guys think of the fight? Was it entertaining? Did you guys like it? Leave your thoughts in the comments as well. But now we'll be talking about, let's talk about Luis Ortiz versus Christian Hammer. Now, obviously, you guys might have seen my kill shot video on there. And I'm challenging everybody. If you guys got any opinions on what you guys think of it, leave it in the chat or leave it in the comments. Yeah, so I said my piece on the whole situation. But in case you ain't watched it, I'm going to talk a little bit about it in a bit. But first up, let's talk about the fight as it is right now. So you got Luis Ortiz fighting Christian Hammer in a 10-rounder. In my video, kill shot video, I said 12 rounds. I meant to say 10 rounds. So, but it was a 10-rounder. I don't know. I was getting confused. I assumed it was a 12 round, but it was a 10 rounder. But anyways, looking at the fight now. Everyone was expecting Luis Ortiz to walk through Christian Hammer. They thought they was going to expect him to knock him out. But look, you have to remember, Christian Hammer is a durable opponent. He's lost. Most recent loss was to Povetkin, and it went 12 rounds. Povetkin won by unanimous decision, but it wasn't a knockout. So Christian Hammer has not been known for brutal knockouts. So people that was expecting Ortiz to walk through this guy, you have to have another thing coming. However, in saying that, now looking at the performance, let's go to the performance first. Now, Luis Ortiz, he did what he had to do. He kept him at bay with a jab. He did good combinations when he had to. So he was dominating the fight in certain aspects. Now, Christian Hammer did have some success when he was coming in with his punches, he did hit some counters. So, and he had got some success, and he was hitting Luis Ortiz, and Luis Ortiz was trying to be macho and showing, hey, look, you know, you're not hurting me, you know, and that kind of thing. But he was connecting with his shots, which for me is a concern, because when you're getting someone like Christian Hammer hitting you, yes, he's not going to knock you out or cause any sort of danger, but you have to think, if Luis Ortiz is getting hit by Christian Hammer with those kind of shots, just imagine a rematch with Deontay Wilder or Anthony Joshua, where you get hit with those same kind of shots. What's going to happen to him? And you saw what happened to him when he fought Deontay Wilder, when he got hit with those kind of shots. Then imagine what's going to happen with Anthony Joshua. He's going to get destroyed. That's simple as that. Now, let's look at it from another standpoint as well. Luis Ortiz is 40 years of age. That's his age, as they say, official age. Now, whether that's gonna, well, whether that's his real age or not, we don't know. We have to wait for technology to find out that's his real age. I think he's 50. I don't know. I don't believe he's 40 years of age. This guy's been 40 for the last 5 years. Since he beat Brian Jennings, this dude's been 40. But anyways, yeah. Now, my concern is this. Normally, when you're a prospect, you're starting out in boxing. You know, you start off doing 6-rounders, maybe 5-rounders, maybe 4-rounders. You move up to 7 rounds. You move up to 8 rounds, 9 rounds, 10 rounds. And then when you start being like professional fights in the big fights, then you start doing 12 rounds. Yeah. Now, Luis Ortiz is doing 10-rounders, 6-rounders. I mean, what are you doing? Like, you are supposed to be at the world level. What are you doing fighting 10-rounder fights? Can you not fight 12 rounds no more? You know what? Was that the round when Wilder knocked you out? So that's do you know what I mean? So it was someone's in the chat. Hey, boxing Blunts, how's it going? You only box 12 if belts online. Yeah. So he says only box 12 is belt online. You know. Now I'm looking at it like from this. Yeah. You fight. Like, Luis Ortiz is preparing to fight Deontay Wilder and preparing to fight Anthony Joshua. Yeah? Now, if you want to fight, preparing for those fights, it's good for you to be fighting for 12 rounds, not 10 rounds. Now, let's look at an example of fighting for other fighters. Dillian Whyte is not a champion. He hasn't got no belt. He has never fought for World Heavyweight Championship yet. He's fighting in 12-round fights. Joseph Parker, he lost to Anthony Joshua. And he lost to Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte and Joseph Parker was not a World Championship fight. It was 12 rounds. Joseph Parker went and fought Lopez in this last year, December time. 12 rounds. No belt at all on the line in New Zealand. 12 rounds. So, you know, so there's lots of fighters out there. So if you're looking to fight at the top level, you need to be fighting at 12 rounds. Why is he fighting 10 rounds, fighting, you know, lesser rounds that he's supposed to? If you're fighting it's equivalent of playing in football. If you're playing football and you're playing pre-season, when you're trying to get match fit, you might play for 30 minutes. You might play for 40 minutes. You might play for 60 minutes. But eventually, when you're getting to that elite level and you're in your competitive boxing, then you go and start playing for 90 minutes. Same thing with boxing. So look, there's no rule to say that you have to fight 12 rounds. But for Luis Ortiz, who's 40 years of age, if he seriously wants to think he got a chance of fighting the top heavyweights, he needs to come in and let's have a look. He needs to come in and prepare for 12 rounds all the time against no matter who he's fighting. Let's have a look. Hey, Boxing and Blood says he fights on WBC silver belt, means that 12 rounds is a championship fight. Anytime someone fights for a belt, it's called a championship fight, as it's 12 rounds. Sends a link. Yeah, so, all right. I'm gonna send you a link. Yeah, one moment. Hold the line. I'm gonna send a link out. Dun, dun. Gonna send a link. I don't know if you guys can listen to me while I'm on like now, but let me just have a look. So right now I'm gonna send the link. One moment, people. I'm gonna send the link to this guy right here. He looks like he's got something to say. Let's have a look and see what he's got to say. So yeah, so look, I just think that look, at the end of the day, it just comes down to this. Yeah, there's lots of fighters that fight. And I just think that if you want to be competitive, you just have to be 12 rounds. That's my opinion on the whole situation. If Luis Ortiz wants to go and fight and do 12 rounds or do 12 rounds or do those kinds of rounds, then that's up to him. But I would say competitive fights that he needs to do. AA Boxing, I sent the link so you can jump on whenever, yeah? Hello?
You alright, mate? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Hey, how's it going?
It's good. No, I expect that to be a 10-rounder. Usually when you're coming off a championship fight and you've fought and lost, you would fight 8 and 10 rounders. That's normal. It's because there's no belt on the line. When you fight for a belt, it becomes a championship fight, which means it has to be 12 rounds. You can't fight for like Dillian White fought against, after he beat AJ, after he got beat off AJ, he fought against, I just looked here, after AJ fought Dave Allen Baccarin in an 8-rounder, then Allen in a 10, Lewison in a 12, because that was for the British heavyweight, then he fought Chisora in a 12, then he fought Malcolm Tanner in an 8-rounder. So it's quite common when you're coming off, especially when you're coming off a defeat in a world title fight, to then have 8 and 10 rounders before you have a 12-rounder.
Yeah. I mean, like, look, it's not a rule to say that you can't have a 12-rounder or anything like that. I just think that, when you're preparing, look, you could be fighting Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua next. They're fighting in 12-round fights now. So I'm thinking if you to, like, you're training, if you're training for a 10-round fight, the difference between, that's called the championship rounds. And if you're not training for championship rounds, then that could affect you when you're going into a championship fight. Do you know what I mean?
But you've got to get a championship fight. Who do you get? You get? It's hard for, who would Ortiz have got to go 12 rounds with him? He would have needed to get a championship fight. There's no many fighters out there who do 12 rounders unless they're fighting for a world title. Yeah,
but if he wants to prepare, I just think, look, if he wants to prepare, I just think he needs to try and get into a 12-round fight. That's what I think he needs to do. Because, like, it's going to be towards his disadvantage. Because these fighters are fighting for 12 rounds. That means that when it's like a marathon. If you're doing a marathon and you're only doing 200 meters, then when you finally trying to race for 400 meters, you're not prepared for 400 meters because you've been training for 200 meters. So I just look at it as that if you're training for 10 rounders and you're fighting for 10 rounds, that means you're only training for 10 rounds. So then you need to, if you need to prepare for 12-round fights, you need to fight more 12-round fights. I mean, look, like I said,
no, that's not how you don't do it like that though. That's not how you do it. He's looking at his world title fight and saying, I'm building up to that. So what you do is you have a camp and you have an 8-rounder and a camp, then a 10-rounder, and then you have a camp that trains you for a 12. He's not done a camp for 12 rounds. He only done a 10 for like 10 rounds. When it comes to a world title fight, then you put more into the camp. You don't put all your energy into the pre-fight, say a world title fight.
Yeah, but this guy's 40 years of age, mate. Like,
he's only got one more. That's what I mean. One more chance. He's got one chance, so he needs to, all the energy he's got, he needs to be saving for that final fight.
All right. Well, look, we'll see. Look, the only way that's going to find out, we'll see. Because when he fought Wilder, when did he get knocked out in the Wilder fight? 10th round, right?
10th, yeah.
Yeah. So this is what I mean. Like, if he's going to go and fight Anthony Joshua or Deontay Wilder again in a rematch, or Tyson Fury maybe, even do you know what I mean? Like, it could be the same again. He gets to the 10th round, he's going to fade, and then he's going to get knocked out again. Because, do you know what I mean? He's mentally in his mind, he's thinking 10 rounds. Maybe he knows it's the 12-round fight, but mentally he's thinking he's got the 12-round fight in him. But look, like I said, he might be thinking, I'm going to save myself for the potential Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder rematch, but then at the same time,
Is he
you
the
know,
most active heavyweight? He's
huh?
had 3 fights in 11 months. He's had 3 fights in 11 months then,
Yeah.
which is a worry. Like, he's way too active. I know you need to stay active, but he's only got one fight in him, a world title fight left, and he can't afford to have too many knockover fights as well. Because, like, I noticed the speed was terrible against Hammer. He didn't look like it. That's the worst I've seen him. Like,
Yeah, so yeah, that's what I was going to lead to. What did you think of the performance, the fight? What do you think?
he was pretty poor. He won every round with ease. Like, his jab is formidable. Like, his jab was enough to keep Hammer at bay. But is he capable of beating AJ? I don't think he beats AJ or Wilder.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing because like I've been saying it for a while. I don't rate Luis Ortiz too highly. Look, now when I say I don't rate Luis Ortiz too highly, I think he's a good fighter. Don't get me wrong, but I just don't think he's the top in the world. I think he's like there's the top in the world, and then there's the one below it. Do you know what I mean? And I think he is along the B level. There's the A level, like AJ Wilder Fury. Then you got the B level. I think he's that level. However, the performance performance against Hammer concerned me because, yeah, he was very slow. Yes, he was great with his jab, and yes, he was good. He threw a good combination at spurts, but then Hammer managed to catch him a few times, which was concerning for me because, I'm thinking if Deontay Wilder, obviously he's fought Wilder already and he's caught him, and that's what and we saw how that went. But obviously, the rematch with Wilder fighting Joshua, those guys were heavy punches, heavy knockout artists who hit him with the same kind of shots. Then I don't know if Ortiz will be able to withstand the kind of shots that those guys bring at that level. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know. You can't. Did you really expect did Ortiz have to go in there and not get punched off a Hammer for it to be a good performance by you? Because Povetkin got punched off a Hammer. Like, you're going to get punched. It's a boxing match. The fact that Ortiz got caught isn't worrying. The fact that he controlled the fight's really, really good. Of course, his Hammer caught him.
But yeah,
Povetkin went 12 rounds with Hammer and then managed to catch AJ, and Hammer was catching Povetkin.
Yeah, but the difference that I'm talking about is that you're getting caught by Christian Hammer, who is a limited fighter. Let's keep it real. He's limited. Like, you're getting caught by a limited fighter. So if you like, I was expecting it's like Tyson Fury, for example. Tyson Fury was fighting, what was his name, Pianetta and Safiri. Yeah, like he was a sparring match. He never got caught once. But if he was getting caught and he was getting hit by those kinds of opponents, then yeah, you'll be thinking, okay, you'll be concerned. But with Luis Ortiz, when you're fighting someone like a Christian Hammer, you shouldn't be getting caught with those kind of shots. Like, yes, I don't get me wrong, it's boxing, you're gonna get hit, but at the same time, he's at that level thinking, okay, I'm looking to fight Wilder versus Joshua next. I need to put in a performance, and with that fight in mind, thinking I have to look good, and I have to look good for the fans, but also look good for yourself to make sure that I'm looking in a decent shape to fight those fights down the line. If he's thinking in his mind, I have a chance of winning that fight. Do you know what I mean? Because if he's thinking I'm gonna win this fight, then he has to look good and be good in that fight. Do you know what I mean? And that's the thing. Like Joshua versus Povetkin, he got hit once in the 3rd round, and after that, he didn't get hit since. Do you know what I mean?
But it's the same thing. What's going to happen with, let's just, like Ortiz beating Hammer the other day. Hammer was actually, I think he might have been just outside the top 10 in the WBO. So you're going to get Luis Ortiz appearing in the WBO rankings. He's ranked with the IBF, and he's got a good ranking with the WBC now. So he's just going to, if he can keep fighting, if he can fight every 3 or 4 months against an eliminator, against somebody in the top 15, that's what he'll do. It's his only thing he can do.
I think to be honest with you, AJ says if he doesn't get Wilder next, then he's looking to fight Ortiz next.
Oh, AJ talks a lot of shit though, doesn't he?
No, but to be
AJ,
honest with you, I believe him. After that performance against Christian Hammer, like people are saying that AJ is
AJ,
afraid of Luis Ortiz,
well,
but I don't think that's the case at all. He would have fought him back 2.5 years ago when he signed with Eddie Hearn. He would have fought him then. To be fair,
that's when the bottom though. That's when Ortiz says that when he signed with Eddie Hearn, he got told it was a free fight deal and he'd be fighting AJ in the third fight, and he never got it and he left. He said he was supposed to fight AJ and it never happened. I know
yeah,
the
but
WBA called it and whatever, but he should have fought. Why did Eddie Hearn need to give him 3 fights to do it? Why not make the fight straight away? Eddie
yeah,
Hearn,
but it's the same thing with what's his name, Jarrell Miller. Jarrell Miller was it was the same situation. They signed with Eddie Hearn because Eddie Hearn says, look, you can fight Anthony Joshua, but he doesn't promise that you're going to be definitely fighting Anthony Joshua because you have to perform. You have to fight. You have to look good. And it's the same thing with Jarrell Miller. Against when he faced Adamek, he said, look, you have to look good against Miller. You have to knock him out. If you go 12...
You're confusing it. Wait a minute. You're confusing something. Jarrell Miller had nothing. You got to remember Ortiz was the WBA interim champion, so AJ was actually fighting him for something. Like, he was fighting for the WBA belt. That's what they were fighting for. When he fought Klitschko, they put that belt on the line. So when Ortiz didn't have to prove anything to fight AJ, he had the belt. They were fighting for that belt. To fight for the WBA belt, Ortiz would have had to fight against AJ. That was the fight that was getting made.
Ortiz is not a WBA champion.
He was interim champion when he was at
interim. Interim. Yeah, but I thought you meant he was like a champion. I was like, what?
No, but he was BoxRec. He was actually BoxRec ranked #1 in the world at the time when he joined Matchroom.
Yeah, it was ranked #1. Yeah, but the point I'm making is that.
So why did Ortiz had to go to Matchroom as the ranked #1 fighter in the world on BoxRec and the WBA interim champion, and he had to have 2 fights to prove he was good enough to fight AJ for his own belt?
Because no one didn't know who he was. That's why. Like, no one didn't know who he was. He was fighting. He got his name for fighting Brian Jennings, and Brian Jennings got his name because he went 12 rounds with Klitschko. Like, if anyone that goes 12 rounds with Klitschko, that means they're good. Yeah. So, and then he got knocked out, and then he was fighting a couple of cards with Golden Boy. No one didn't know who he was, so he brought him into the UK, and then you try to do it in the UK. If he went and did a job on Dave Allen and did a job against that other dude that he fought, then he would have fought AJ next. But because
you believe that, do you? Because I can tell you something.
That.
They never had to bring Molina on and give Molina 2 fights to make sure the British people know who he was, or Brazil, or anybody else, Takam, or anybody. To say that you need to give Ortiz 2 fights when he's already ranked #1 and he's got a belt, that's bullshit, mate. If you believe that, you're a fool.
Yeah, but can you really honestly believe, that looking at Ortiz, against Dave Allen and the other dude, that AJ is going to look at those fights and go, oh no, I best avoid him. He looks dangerous. Are you seriously going to believe that?
No, but Eddie Hearn's going to turn around and say, don't fight him. I'll make a Klitschko fight for you. That's a fight I can make.
But you're fighting Klitschko for an unification fight. That's a bigger fight. That's $20 million. And then people at the end of the day, Tyson Fury. People want to go. People want to go and say, yeah, well done for Tyson Fury for taking $80 million deal and dodging Deontay Wilder, who's actually a champion. But then AJ goes and does a unification fight for more money, for over $20 million for a unification fight, and he's ducking Ortiz. What kind of world are we living in?
No, it's no ducking Ortiz. That's when the fight should have been made. The fight should have been made when Ortiz signed with Matchroom. It should have been like, why would you marry? Why would you need to marry? That was a unification fight. If he'd fought Ortiz the day Ortiz joined Matchroom, that would have been for the WBA belt. That would have been a unification fight.
I know, but why did he fight for interim belt when he's getting for the fight for the real thing? Do you know what I mean? But
it would have. If AJ had fought Ortiz instead of Dave Allen fighting him, that would have been for the WBA belt. That would have been on the line.
No, it wouldn't have been for the WBA. The full belt? The full belt? No, I wouldn't have been up for the full belt. I think even what was it? I think Lucas. Like, wait a minute, did Lucas Brown have that belt at the time? Was he banned for drugs back then? By that time?
No, that's the regular belt. That's the WBA, the regular, but the super belt would have been on the line. Whoever fought for that, because when Klitschko got to fight for that, Klitschko fought for the WBA super belt, even though he never held another belt.
Yeah, I mean, that's how. Look, the thing is, you have to look at it in how Eddie Hearn's looked at it. Look, Eddie Hearn looked at it as the fact of he wants to put that on pay-per-view. if he put done Ortiz versus AJ pay-per-view, would that have sold on a pay-per-view fight? Or would he thinking, okay, this could be a potential big fight. Let's put him in front of the UK TV a little bit, put a few fights in there, and then once he's gone, his name known, then put him in front of Anthony Joshua. Because let's think about it for a second. I mean, people say that Eddie Hearn signed Luis Ortiz because he wanted to avoid him against Anthony Joshua. That doesn't make no sense whatsoever. If you wanted to avoid Luis Ortiz, you didn't have to sign him. You could have just completely ignored him. Ignored him from existence. Just like when Scott Quigg was in the same division as Rigondeaux, he pretended that Rigondeaux did not exist. He wasn't in the same planet. You could have just ignored Luis Ortiz. But the fact is, you brung him into the UK. And you was hyping him as well. He was hyping him, saying, this is one of the most dangerous heavyweights out there. You know, he's going to be this. You know, and that was what was happening. So, you know, so I don't believe the whole narrative of Eddie Hearn signed Luis Ortiz so he could keep him away from Joshua. That makes no sense at all.
Right now you've got Joshua talking about Ortiz. You've got Eddie Hearn coming out and saying that he's trying to make Ortiz fight. Who's he making? Dillian White sat there thinking, am I fighting Brazil? Wilder's getting offers for 15 million to fight Brazil on DAZN, while Eddie Hearn's supposed to be negotiating a fight for me to fight Brazil coming up for my next fight. Like, what's going on? Dillian White's been stripped to the WBO international belt as well.
Yeah, I know, but like, look, yeah, Dillian White had the Joshua fight, and he decided not to take it. So that's the gamble that you took. You know, he took the gamble. He could have accepted the offer that was presented to him, and if he backed himself, he could have said, okay, fine, I'll fight Anthony Joshua for the whatever money that was offered. I will beat Anthony Joshua, and then I'll face him in a rematch, and I'll beat him again, and then that's it. And then that's it. Do you know what I mean? If he backed himself, that's what he could have done. But he didn't. He said, no, I'm not taking the money, and this is the situation that he's in now. Do you know what I mean? You know, yeah, I mean, I heard him in the interview. Did you hear him in the interview over the weekend? He said, look, you know, he said he doesn't have any regrets and this kind of thing. But look, he must be thinking, he must be at home thinking, do you know what? I should have taken the Joshua fight. You know what I mean?
Especially when Eddie Hearn's come out and publicly saying to Wilder, I'll give you 15 million to fight Brazil or Kaunaki or White. Do you know what I mean? Now White sat there thinking, who am I fighting? Like, how can I get a fight when he's wanting to fight Brazil to get that mandatory, and Eddie Hearn's trying to get that fight, but no, he can't fight Ortiz. If Dillian White fights Ortiz, it's pointless because it's a secondary mandatory, and he's already refused that. So why take a fight 2 years later?
Look, I mean, this is the fight that I would like to see him fight next is Luis Ortiz. That's the fight I would like to see him fight next. But, you know, like I said, right now, they're in a dispute with the WBC. Like, I'm sick and tired of talking about these governing bodies. The WBC, like right now, what it looks like is going to be Deontay Wilder versus Dominic Breazeale, which I said that was going to be the case from December. But what Deontay Wilder wants, he wants that to be a mandatory. He wants it to be a mandatory defense. Yeah, and he doesn't want it, not a voluntary. Reason being is because if it becomes a voluntary, he can make Dillian White wait it out for another 2 years before he fights him. That's the reason why that's the reason why he wants to do it.
It needs to be a mandatory though. He can't. Brazil is his mandatory. He can't fight his mandatory and call it a voluntary. He needs to fight Brazil next, or Brazil needs to fight. They've already ordered Brazil to fight against White for a WBC interim belt because they'd ordered the champion to fight. When the champion's busy, they can order an interim fight. So they ordered that fight, but now the champion's not busy. They need to order Brazil versus. But it's who they order. They could order White versus Tyson Fury as a final eliminator.
Nah, that would be taking the piss. Like, why would Fury would never take that? Like, that would make no sense for him at all. He could have fought 50-50 for Deontay Wilder straight for the belt, and then he's going to turn that down to fight Dillian White for eliminator to become mandatory for a belt that you could have had already.
He'll need to though. because he'll not get his shot. Right, so Brazil gets ordered to fight against Dillian, fights Wilder, and that's his mandatory, right? They then need to order a final eliminator for their next mandatory. They have to do that straight away. They don't wait 6 months. That's why Molina fought against Brazil so quick. That's why that they make it straight away. So the mandatory's in place when the mandatory fights. Usually there's a mandatory waiting, or they make it run about. So they'll have to order a fight for the next mandatory. Now, who do they order?
Yeah,
You've
but why I think this is what Deontay Wilder wants to do. Like, he wants to make Dominic Brazil mandatory, so then he can fight Dominic Brazil, and then that's it. And then that means that if he makes Dominic Brazil mandatory, that means that Dillian Whyte has to face another fighter and have another fight as an eliminator fight to be the WBC mandatory. That means that they're gonna order Luis Ortiz versus Dillian Whyte. They're gonna order that as a eliminator for #1 mandatory. So that means it's gonna be Luis Ortiz, and then that fight is gonna happen. Then if that happens, then Dillian Whyte is gonna end up fighting in, what was it, July, August, September, October time. So that means that from the time that fight happens in September, October time, let's say October, that means that in November, they will make Dillian Whyte the #1 mandatory if he wins. That means that is going to be another, a year and a half? The year 2021 is when they may call that mandatory. And let's remember this as well. Dominic Brazil was mandatory from 2017? He was mandatory from 2017. He was mandatory. Yeah?
Yep.
And after he's been waiting for about a year and a half, then they didn't call his mandatory. They made him fight another eliminator. That's what the WBC do. So even though you're waiting a year and a half for your mandatory to be called, they will call another eliminator for you to fight again to become mandatory again. And then it starts again from scratch. This is what the WBC do. So they drag it on and on and on. That's why when I say to the Charlos, the Charlo can just wait and eventually he'll get his shot. I said, no, it won't. They'll make him fight another eliminator. They made him fight. He already had 3 eliminator fights beforehand already. They'll make him fight another eliminator, and that's what's going to happen. Because Canelo can fight, what was his name? Jacobs, fight a voluntary, and then next year, 2020, he can fight, what's his name?
Triple G.
Triple G, and then he can go and fight, and then because he can fight Triple G, because he's a former champion, and then he can go and fight DeAndrade. So that means in the year 2020, the year 2021, that's when they may call the mandatory, or they'll just say you have to do another eliminator. That's what I mean. So it's never going to happen.
But it's got to be. You're saying that as if the WBC is going to be corrupt with calling up it as a mandatory. It has to be a mandatory. They can't call up. How can they call up Brazil as a voluntary when he's a mandatory? That's impossible.
But it has to be a voluntary defense. It has to be a voluntary defense because they've already ordered Brazil versus White. It has to be a voluntary defense.
You know, read the statement. They ordered it. Do you know what an interim fight is? An interim fight is when the champion's either injured or busy. The champion was busy because they'd ordered a fight. The fact that fight's not been ordered now, cancelled. Dillian Whyte doesn't have anything to fight. There's no an interim belt on the line. An interim belt's only when the champion's busy. Deontay Wilder is no busy now, so he's free to fight his mandatory. So the fact that White's been offered the White fight is only the White to fight Brazil for an interim belt was only ordered because Deontay Wilder was ordered to fight Fury. The fact that Fury and Wilder's off now means that Brazil fights his mandatory. That's what happens. That's the way the rules are. Even the WBC, they've already said that, Edge. The WBC already came out and said that.
I know.
The only reason they ordered that fight is because the champion is busy.
I know, but the thing is, the WBC, their rules is very discretionary. Like, I know what they're going to do. This is what I said to you.
No, but you've just said that they're going to call
mandatory. They're going to make
WBC. That's supposed to do. That's the rule. What? How can the WBC call anything but a mandatory? They can't call up him and call him a voluntary. So you're telling me you want them to call up Brazil as a voluntary and make Ortiz fight against
No.
Then become the mandatory.
Because right now, because they've they've ordered an eliminator fight. That means that neither of them are not mandatory. They're fighting for the mandatory spot. That's basically what's happened. So
No. Wait. It doesn't. See if you read that, it doesn't even mention anything about a mandatory. It mentions for an interim belt because the champion's busy.
No.
It doesn't even mention it. It's for a mandatory.
It's for the mandatory because that's the whole point of why this fight is getting done. It's for the mandatory spot. This is the whole point. Because if let's say that they have this fight in July, Dominic Brazil and then Dillian White wins, then Dominic Brazil can't be the mandatory still. It makes no sense. Why fight Brazil just so you can still be the second mandatory? It makes no sense. So the whole point of this fight in July is to be the number one mandatory. That's the whole point of it.
But that won't happen now. The only reason they ordered the fight is because the champion was busy, but now the champion's no busy. Deontay Wilder can't take a voluntary now. He has to fight the mandatory. They've already, the WB, Deontay Wilder will fight Brazil next as his mandatory, and then they'll order a final eliminator between either Dillian White and Ortiz or Dillian White and Fury. That'll be the final eliminator for the mandatory. Whoever wins that becomes mandatory, and like you say, it'll be 18 months before they get their title shot. So,
yeah, but this is what I think will happen. That's what I said. I think what's going to happen is okay. 1 second, someone's in the chat. Hey, Hammer92, how's it going? Yeah, I sent the link so you can jump on. Yeah, I hope your phone works this time. Yeah. So that's what I think is going to happen. I said it. I think what's going to happen is it's going to be Dominic Brazil's going to make it mandatory, and then he's going to make Dillian White wait. But this is why I said hello. Oh, this is why I said Dillian White should have taken the AJ fight, because this is the risk that you're taking now. Because
he should have took the Pulev fight. The Pulev fight would have got him. All he had to do was fight Pulev, and he would have been the IBF. He would have been the IBF mandatory, and he refused to fight Pulev. So, like, how can Dillian White actually stand in the mirror and say to myself, "I'm worthy of being a champion," when you refuse to fight? You can't turn around and say, "Oh no, it's because he was only getting 25%." Look, Eddie Hearn went in that purse bid. See if Eddie Hearn had won that purse bid, Pulev would have had to come to Britain and fight for that purse. The fact that his team offered more money doesn't mean Dillian White.
He doesn't want to invest in purse bids with Dillian White because it's not his fighter. Technically, he's not really his fighter. He's not signed with Eddie Hearn, so he's not going to invest a lot of money in Dillian White. When it was like, come off it, like if he's going purse bids with Dominic Brazil, you're trying to tell me that Eddie Hearn can't win that? Like,
no, but this is the point.
I mean?
Why would you know? But he's looking at that purse bid. All he needed to do was bid $1.1 million, right? £900,000, and he had Dillian White against Pulev. Dillian White beats him, and he's got Dillian White versus AJ at Wembley as a guaranteed fight. He had that, and it would have cost him less than 900 grand. He would have put that on pay-per-view. It would have done 500,000 buys, and that fight would have made £10 million. Right, so where's that £10 million gone? If you're only spending £800,000 on Pulev, then there's £9 million left. Why is Eddie Hearn bothered? Eddie Hearn's made millions of pounds in the last year off of Dillian White. Millions of pounds.
Yeah, but this is the thing though, because he is not his fighter. This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm trying to say. He's going to invest more money if you're signed to him. If you're not signed to him, you're not going to invest as much money in you, which makes sense, because why are you going to invest a lot of money in Dillian White just for him to say, okay, I'm going to PBC after, if he's not committed to you? So I can understand the standpoint of, I'm not going to invest too much in you because, like, you're not signed to me. So if you're signed to Eddie Hearn in a proper contract, then he probably would have won that purse bid, and that fight would have been in the UK, because he can invest more in Dillian White.
No, but and this is why he would have put that on pay-per-view. If Eddie Hearn had won that purse bid, Pulev versus Dillian White for the IBF final eliminator would have been on pay-per-view. It would have been 20 quid. So he would have needed to sell 50,000 pay-per-views to make his £1 million investment back. Like, yeah, Eddie Hearn making money at that fight.
Yeah, but you're forgetting, like, all the expenses and everything like that. So, but, like, I mean...
What expenses? You filled the O2, £1 million. It covers all expenses. Don't kid me on that Dillian White versus Pulev wouldn't have made £1 million.
Would he fill up the O2 fighting Pulev? I mean, do you believe that?
Of course he would have. There's loads of matchroom mongs out there who would have bought a ticket for that.
Come on, man. The matchroom ain't that gullible. Come on. That
not
ain't
for
gonna
long. He could
happen.
have sold Pulev. He would have sold Pulev as the only person who's beat him's Klitschko. Look at him. He's the IBF.
Pulev
He would
ain't
have
beat.
sold that. He would have sold that.
Oh
Eddie Hearn would
man,
have sold that.
come on,
Come
man.
on.
I know Eddie Hearn's good at selling, but like, there's certain
He's
there's
going to tell the
limits.
Brazil fight. He's going to Brazil versus Dillian White's going to be on pay-per-view. He's going to sell that and tell you Brazil's the real deal. That only Anthony Joshua's knocked him out. It's no different for Pulev.
No, but that fight's gonna go to the States. That's what I'm saying to you. That's gonna go purse
Do you
bids,
think so?
and it's gonna. Yeah, that's Eddie Hearn already said it. He said he said look, it's going stateside. Like he said, he ain't bidding for that fight. It's not gonna be a UK fight. It's gonna be a stateside fight. So this is what I'm saying to you. He ain't committing money to Dillian White. He ain't committing money to him. Like, I would not be surprised. Don't be surprised if Dillian White goes to PBC or goes to ESPN or goes to another network and finds a big deal.
I don't think he'll go to ESPN. I wouldn't be shocked if he goes to ITV, because ITV's like, right. I've Eddie Hearn, Dillian White makes £2 million a fight, right? Pay-per-view on the Sky, because he offered him double plus a bit to fight AJ. He made $2 million versus Chisora. It sounds a lot, but it's only 100,000 pay-per-view buys. If you can guarantee Dillian White the first 100,000 pay-per-view buys go into his pocket and guarantee him the $2 million, then he'll jump ship to ITV.
But this is what it's But I'm saying ITV will be PBC. That's what I'm saying. PBC. That's what it will be. It will be Al Heyman. That's where he'll be going, because Al Heyman's got the deal with ITV. And he's saying he's been having talks. Look, I mean, for him, I think he'll be loyal to Sky. He wants to be loyal to Sky, but I would not be surprised because his relationship, because Tony Bellew had the same kind of deal. He was a fight by fight deal, but Tony Bellew and Eddie Hearn, they're best of mates. They're like best of mates. So which is different. Whereas
maybe there has a deal. Only AJ. Who actually has a match? Who has a match? Do you know how many fighters have a matchroom deal?
Yeah, it's quite a few. Like Matchroom USA, lots of Matchroom USA's got that.
No, but Matchroom UK. Who has a deal in Matchroom UK? Anthony Fowler doesn't have a deal.
Kell Brook is in the last fight of his deal, but he's looking to extend it. In regards to, I think there's quite a few fighters that do have long-term deals, but they're not. The problem is, like, there's quite a few fighters that have long-term deals. Like, not long-term. I say long-term, I mean 3-fight deals. He normally does 3-fight deals.
Who's got deals and who's no? So who already?
Kamei Khan is currently in the last fight of his 3-fight deal. Kell Brook is. Liam Smith is. He's in a 3-fight deal. Who else? I can't think of it. Like, my brain's like fried right now. Quite a few. Huh?
I'd imagine like Buatsi and
Buatsi.
Holy have.
There's quite a few. But like, there's quite the ones that he wants to keep. Like, not the ones that he wants to keep. That's the wrong word saying. The ones that, the future, the young talent, the talent ones where he's gonna develop, he will he signs onto long-term deals. So those are the ones that he will sign. But look, back to the point of Dominic Brazil. Like, it comes down to the fact of, he doesn't want to commit too much money on Dillian White. That's what it comes down to.
But he's making it back. Dillian White's doing $500,000 pay-per-views every time. Dillian White's doing £10 million plus pots, and if Dillian White's only walking away with £2 million, then Eddie Hearn's making a shitload of money off of Dillian White. So he should be investing in him.
Yeah, but that's the thing though, because maybe the numbers are not adding up as much as what we think it will be. It's like when Wilder fought Tyson Fury, everyone's like, oh, the pay-per-view numbers are great, but then now ESPN are saying we need to build their profiles. Like, why do they need to build their profiles if the pay-per-view was so fantastic?
Because they want 1 and 2 million. ESPN want between 1 and 2 million for that pay-per-view. They want 1 and 2 million for that next one.
Exactly. That's the whole point I was trying to make before, because I said you can't do 325,000 buys. It's not a success. Even though as much as Showtime want to tell you, that's not a success. But I think but I don't think Dillian White is making the amount of money that people think he's making. Obviously, he's doing well. Don't get me wrong, but in regards to the overall scheme of things, I mean, if he's making the amount of like pay-per-view, not obviously Joshua kind of money, but if he's making around that kind of mark, then why would you, I can imagine. Look, I don't think Al Heyman is going to be bidding millions and millions on Dominic Brazil. Do you know what I mean? Because I think he knows deep down that Dillian White will beat Dominic Brazil in the States or in the UK. So it doesn't make no sense for him to overbid to get Dillian White in the States. So so it's confusing to me. But look, that fight, I don't think that fight's happening anyways. It's Wilder versus Dominic Brazil. Then negotiations. I think that fight is pretty much close to being done, and it's going to be announced soon. So Dillian White, that fight is not happening anyway. So
what happens with Dillian White next? Who does Dillian White fight next?
Hey, Lawrence Okoli, catchweight.
Nah.
Yeah, man, that's what he said. He says he wants to fight Lawrence Okoli at catchweight.
I wonder if the WBO are going to actually make an announcement this week about their mandatory, because Dillian White, like the WBO international belts, the belt that carries the clout, that's usually the one that gives you your world title shot.
Yeah, but he's stuck there as well, because then Usyk will be automatically mandatory for the WBO. So he's screwed. That's what I mean. He's screwed. Dillian White is screwed, royally screwed. Like now, even now, like what is he gonna be fighting? Do you know what I mean? Hey, EJ Boxing Live, how's it going? Hey, look, man, we're talking about Dillian White. We're both worried for him. So AA Boxing and Blunts, yeah. Who do you want? Who do you want Dillian White to fight in July, and who do you think he'll be fighting in July?
Me? Seriously?
Yeah.
I'd love him to fight Brazil as the final eliminate. Well, for the mandatory, fight Brazil and then fight Wilder. But realistically, I honestly think you're going to see him versus Parker in a rematch. Like, it's the only fight they can make. It's the only fight that's there. Like, nobody else has got a name. Who's he going to fight that's got a name?
Yeah, but the thing is,
maybe Povetkin. There's a chance he could fight Povetkin, only because I think Hunter is going to fight Usyk. I think Usyk and Hunter's going to be the fight that gets announced on May the 18th, which leaves Povetkin free.
I thought Povetkin was going to fight Hunter, not Usyk. I thought because Hunter's like up and coming, you don't want to put him in there with Usyk straight away. I thought it was going to be Povetkin versus Hunter and Usyk versus Takam.
Could possibly. I was just thinking. I don't know. I'm just thinking that they're going to have to put an American in Usyk on his debut in America, owned his own USA. He's going to have to be fighting an American. He's going to have to fight somebody the Americans know. You can't put him in there against a Ukrainian versus a Frenchman. That's
yeah,
no deal.
I'll put if I was Usyk, I'll put him in against one of the PBC fighters. I'll put him against Washington. I'll put him in against like Arthur Spilka. I'll put him in against someone like that. Usyk. Someone that's known to the American public. Someone who's fought against Deontay Wilder, so they'll know him.
But who's White going to fight? Realistically, White's got nobody. He needs to fight somebody who's been a world champion. He can only fight against an ex-world champion or somebody who's only been beat off a world champion. And right now, there's only a rematch with Parker out there that's going to, or Povetkin possibly. There's only fights that they can make for him that's going to be pay-per-view in Britain.
Hey, Aobs, how's it going? Welcome to the chat. Hey, we're talking about Dillian White. We're concerned for him. Hey, leave some suggestions in the comments. Who do you think Dillian White should be fighting in July? He hasn't got no opponents. Yeah, so I mean, this is the thing. Dillian White, like obviously Parker, you think it may be Joseph Parker. I don't think it'll be Joseph Parker because, like, he nearly lost that fight. He nearly lost. He was at death's door. He nearly lost that fight, and he survived by the belt.
One word for you. Chisora. He nearly lost against Chisora and then took him in a rematch. Like, there's nothing else he can do. There's like, who can he fight? Who can he fight? Realistically, like, he needs to fight somebody with a name.
Hey, do you know what? I'm gonna throw a name out there. Yeah, I'm gonna steal it. Kornacki. What do you think?
Nah, he's not going to. PBC are not going to let him go, are they? They're not going to let him go.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people say you've got a promoter, but see when you've got an advisor and the advisor's the guy who's paying your bills, like, do you know what I mean? He's looking at, Kornacki's looking at that WBC belt as well now, isn't he? everybody's looking at Wilder.
Yeah, Wilder's food right now to everybody right now, all their
Yeah.
champions. Let's have a look. Aob's in the chat saying, let's have a look at the chat.
Ahmed's there.
Who?
Ahmed, who would you say?
Oh, is Ahmed on the chat?
He's there.
Hey,
How's
Ahmed, you finally, the link finally works for you.
It was that day. It wasn't working. I'm not lying. I tried like 20 times. I think probably more than that. But yeah, what were you talking about?
We're talking about Dillian White. Like, we're talking about Dillian White. Who is he gonna fight? Because right now he's calling out Lawrence Okoli, and he wants to fight him at catchweight.
Yeah, I think that could happen. That's the only fight I could see being on pay-per-view. Because I think Povetkin and Usyk have ruled out. He's not going to fight Joseph Parker, obviously, and Derek Chisora because he just fought them. And what was it? Brazil's going to fight Wilder, it looks like. So that's the only fight I think that could go on pay-per-view. Because if you fight someone like Konaki, that's a hard sell on pay-per-view. Even a Coley, I don't know if they could put that on pay-per-view, but what I was reading was Lucas Brown and Dave Allen are going to fight, and I think it's Joseph Parker and Chisora, so I still don't think that's a pay-per-view card, man. It's kind of sad that fights like this are ending up on pay-per-view, but I think someone was saying on another podcast it could be leading into the fight between Khan and Crawford, so they might do like a double-header.
No, I mean they've already said that Khan Crawford could be on BT Sport, so it's not going to be a part of a double header. But I'm just shocked that you're actually talking about Lawrence Okoli like it's actually an option. Like, I was joking. Like, Lawrence Okoli ain't fighting Dillian White anytime soon. Like, that fight is just not happening. But yeah, it's entertaining though, hearing Dillian White just rant and rave.
The Chisora fight against Parker's off as well. That's off until probably July time. Parker's team said that they want a full training camp for that. So fight in April.
Yeah,
I was at the Lucas Brown fight on Saturday. I went up to Scotland to watch Lucas Brown fight, and he's got a 2-fight contract for a match. There you go, Ed. There's somebody with a 2-fight contract for a match for him. Lucas Brown's got a 2-fight contract to fight Dave Allen and then David Price.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So
wait a minute. Lucas Brown fought in what? Scotland?
He was fighting in Scotland on Saturday night. Yeah.
Yeah.
You see this? I seen the video. He got dropped or something. I think Michael Benson put it up, but
yeah,
I thought that was in Australia.
He wasn't robbed of that. People were saying he got robbed. I had him winning it by a point. He got dropped in the second, and the 6 was close, but he was marking the guy up easy. He was laughing all the way through it. Lucas Brown.
I thought it was in Australia.
No, I was in the outside. I think I was in the UK because I think he's preparing. He's preparing for because I think what was it? Lucas. God, my brain is fried. Dave Allen is going to be next month, so he's going to be training here. Yeah,
they're fighting in April, but he said he's no. They were told they were going to be fighting on April the 13th on Joshua's undercard. Then that got cancelled. Then Dillian White was meant to have the April 20th.
Yeah, Dillian White has been moved, didn't he? Yeah. Oh yeah, I was wrong on that. I heard
but there's no date now. There's no card for April.
Oh yeah.
Dillian White won't be.
Oh, 1 second. Oh yeah, guys, man, hit that like button, man. Just 2 likes at the moment. What's going on? Hey, man, if you're liking the show, hit that like button. If you're watching it for the first time, hit the subscribe button. We do shows every week. I want to try and look to do some every day, but we'll see what happens. Oh yeah, look at the chat. Aobs is saying Usyk getting smoked by any of the top 5 heavyweights. Aobs is saying White should smoke that Cuban OAP. Hey man, look, Aobs wants White to fight Usyk. I mean, I thought White to fight Ortiz. Now I was thinking that Ortiz could fight Dillian White if he had a quick night against Hammer. But because he went all 10 rounds with Hammer, I don't think he'll go straight in with Dillian White next. I think that's
I still haven't seen that fight. I still haven't seen that fight, but Dillian White is definitely not fighting in April, and that's off the cards.
Yeah, that fight. Dillian White's not fighting in April. That's not happening at all. So the fight, they're announcing that April.
Is Dave Allen and Lucas Brown on pay-per-view, or is that regular?
No. It's not. It's going to be regular. It's going to be a regular fight night. So. It's going to be Lucas Brown and Dave Allen's going to be on that card. And Chisora is going to be fighting on that card as well.
That could be a pay-per-view then. That
No,
could
no,
be.
not
I wouldn't put it past Eddie Hearn, man. He's done.
No.
What if
you can't get away
What
with
if
putting
he?
out pay-per-view.
What if he put?
They should add Prince Patel to that card just for a laugh.
Huh?
Prince Patel.
Yeah, I mean
What-
that fight definitely won't be on pay-per-view because it's the card is just not good enough. Let's just
What if we add Khan Crawford and mix into like a double header?
No, but
I think
that won't happen because it's on late at night and if you can't it's going to be difficult. This is the problem with this is the same thing with Joshua and Miller. That's on pay-per-view, but it's not going to sell as much pay-per-views because it's going to be late at night in the morning, and especially with Khan, who's not really a UK pay-per-view fighter really. Late at night, it's going to be difficult because they don't predict that it's going to.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean, but he's already put on Joseph Parker and Dylan White on pay-per-view. And
Yeah,
Derek
but that's
Chisora
on prime time.
And no, I'm trying to say Derek Chisora and Dylan White. I'm talking about the April 20 card. Like, I'm saying he might just add them up together, like, to justify. But Joseph Parker and Derek Chisora, I won't be surprised if he puts on pay-per-view part of the card because he already put on Chisora and Dylan White. I don't think that was a pay-per-view. And Joseph Park and Dilla White, I think that was a better card because he had Chisora and Takam. But
I mean,
I want to rule out.
That fight could be pay-per-view, but it depends on how solid the card is. If the card is solid and you got lots of good undercard fights on there, then it could make as a pay-per-view. You could make it. You could get away with it as a pay-per-view. You had lots of 50-50 good championship fights on there. But if it's just Parker and Chisora, and then the rest of it is just like rubber matches, then no way it's going to be pay-per-view. But look,
where is that card? Is that O2 Arena or?
I think the April card is in O2 Arena.
That was meant to be Wembley, isn't it? Initially.
No. April the 13th was Wembley, but they've moved it.
Oh,
to
it's
April
13.
20th now.
Sorry.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, they're going to do an announcement this week. So Chisora's doing posts out saying, I'm making a phone call, announcement coming soon. So I think the opponent's already been sorted. I think you're going to hear a lot of cards now. We're just waiting for heavyweight fights. I mean, can you believe it? It's March and we've only got one, like, not one. I mean, we've got like Bogdan Dinu and Pulev.
That's a bad fight.
But they've only got one like proper heavyweight fight announced up until this point. Do you know what I mean? Wilder's fight hasn't been announced yet. Fury's fight hasn't been announced yet. There's only one fight being announced in the heavyweight division. This is ridiculous.
Same as
White got a fight yet. Usyk, Povetkin, sorry.
Pulev has.
Pulev pulled out, didn't he? Pulev is meant to be fighting Helenia.
No, Dinu. Bogdan Dinu.
He's fighting Bogdan Dinu next. That's official now.
He's fighting him now.
Yeah, Bogdan Dinu. I mean, that's the one that Miller destroyed.
What about Takam?
Takam, I don't know. That's what I mean. That could be Usyk's next fight.
Didn't Takam?
They're looking at having that Usyk fight on the 18th of May as well on DAZN, and that's when Wilder's talking about fighting in it. The same day.
Yeah. So
didn't Takam fight on the Chisora White undercard?
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, because right now ESPN might are looking to do a card, possibly on the 1st of June, the same day as the Joshua fight, because they're looking to do their card on the 18th. They're looking to do their card. So they're trying
on
to.
June the 1st.
There's going to be clashes.
Yeah, it's Beterbiev and someone in there. I read about that.
Yeah. So it's going to be some clashes of.
That's not really a good card though. I don't think it's that big of a card though. I think people
ESPN needs more fighters. That's what they need. They paid Tyson Fury 80 million. They should have spread that towards the rest of their fighters to get more fighters on their platform. But let's have a look. AOBS is saying 2019 gonna be disappointing. We're gonna get AJ versus AJ Ortiz and Wilder Kownacki later in the year. The best we can hope for is Pac-Man versus Furman and Jacobs versus Canelo. Yeah, so what? Do you guys think 2019 is going to be disappointing? AOBS is not optimistic at the moment. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I don't think it'll be good, man. 2017 was so good, and then it's just been downhill. So 2018 was okay because you got Triple G and what was his name, Canelo, and we managed to get a big unification in the heavyweight division between Joshua and Parker, and we got the World Boxing Super Series. What was it, the semi-finals and final? Eubank Groves was a really big fight, but since the beginning, it's just gone downhill. You had some good fights, Ortiz and Wilder, Joshua Parker, then. I thought it went downhill, like the back end, from September onwards. Like I don't think 2019 will be that good.
Do you know what? This year had the potential to be a good year in boxing. You know, this year had the potential to be a good year. When there was a draw with Wilder, we could have got Wilder Fury, Wilder Joshua. I thought this year was going to be the year. Now, don't get me wrong. It's still only March, so there's lots of things that could happen. But so far, with the fights that's come out at the moment, I'm not really impressed so far with the fights that's been coming out, at the moment. You know, maybe in the second half of the year they can make up for it, which they could do. I mean, you could get Pacquiao versus Furman, Wilder versus AJ could happen later on this year. So you never know. But at this present moment in time, it's not looking good at the moment. So, AA Boxing, what do you think?
Tyson Fury's just been a fake, isn't he? I'm shocked. I'm absolutely gutted. Tyson Fury's wasted any chance of having these fights now. I defended Tyson Fury to the house. I backed him to beat Wilder. When he came back, I was so excited. My favourite boxer. And then he refused. Right, fair enough. See, against AJ, see when Eddie offered him money to fight AJ, I was happy he refused it because he was fighting Wilder. And then when he's no fighting Wilder, so he knocked back the money to fight AJ, he's knocked back the money to fight Wilder, and now he's going to fight bums and call himself a champion. He's no my champion. No, you can't. I'm seriously. I'm no wearing any Tyson Fury memorabilia. I'm no buying any more t-shirts, merch, hats, the whole lot. I'm never going to watch him fight again. Never.
What was that? I just missed what you were saying about Tyson Fury.
So basically, to cut it in a nutshell, he's disappointed in Tyson Fury. That's basically what he's saying.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say he did have the potential, but it started since September. Like Joshua was fighting Povetkin, and then you had the Fury Wilder announcement. Obviously, we want to see Joshua Wilder. That didn't happen. We want to see Mikey Garcia and Lomachenko, and Mikey ends up fighting Spence. Since then, all the fights we want to see haven't happened because Crawford and Spence should have fought as well. So I don't think 2019 will be that good.
Even it's boxing, like 2 years ago, I'm sure 2 years ago we had 17. 2 years ago we had something like 17 champions. We've got 5 in Britain. We've got 5 world champions in Britain just now.
Yeah, 2017 was a good year. 2017.
I mean, this is it comes down to it, like, and I've been saying this for a while, like, the standard of the standard of fighters that's coming through at the moment is worrying. And it's not. I'm not gonna say the fighters. I'm saying the coaches, like the coaches that's coming out of the fight of the gyms at the moment. Is not very good and is concerning for me right now. There's a lot of fighters right now that's coming into the gym, and look, yeah, there's more gyms out there. There's more boxing gyms than before, which is great. But at the same time, how many coaches, good coaches, are coming out and training these youngsters? Because I'm seeing,
if you're a boxer, you don't go to one gym and stay in that gym your whole career. Learn one style of boxing. You should be moving about gyms constantly, especially as a kid. Like, you should be moving about, learning different styles, techniques, defence, offence, learning different. But boxers will just go to GB, they go through the amateur setup, they learn amateur boxing. Everybody boxes the same. Everybody does it. You box on the back foot, or else you just go for it. You got 2 options: either put your head down and swing, or else you stand on the back foot and try and pick points. That's how it works. So when you turn pro, you're fighting against people who are exactly the same as amateurs turning off. And then you've got journeymen who just cover up. So there's no progression. And then you get in elite. Like, the difference between the difference between area level and British level is pretty poor. Like, there's no much difference. The difference between British and European is quite high, and the difference between European and world is massive.
And this is the challenge that we're having at the moment. Like, you know, we're seeing these people trying to step up and not making the grade. You know, like we had Cheeseman try to step up. We had Lewis Ritson try to step up to European level and failed. You know, and they're trying to say Lewis Ritson is his weight. That was the issue, but it wasn't his weight. It was his skill set. His skill set weren't there. You know?
What do you make of did you see Frank Warren earlier talking about making Dubois Gorman at the end of the year?
Yeah.
I know this is a wild shot, right? But that's a pay-per-view fight. That's going to be on the undercard day, because they're talking about trying to get Kovalev now against Yard, aren't they? They reckon that's going to get ordered now.
I hope that happens.
And Frank said he wants to get Kovalev to Britain. But there's a Ramirez. See Ramirez, who's got the super middleweight belt. He's got
Kovalev's the light heavyweight, though, isn't he?
Yeah, heavyweight. Well, he ain't vacating the belt.
No, Billy Joe Saunders has moved up from 160 to 168 to fight the belt. But the guy who had the belt at 168, Ramirez, is meant to be stepping up to 175. So he would get to fight Kovalev if he steps up. But Ramirez just came out and says, I've no vacated, I'm fighting at 168. So Billy Joe Saunders is going to have to fight the champion. It's not a vacant belt. That guy said, I've no vacated the belt, and Frank's already made a fight to fight for a vacant belt for Billy Joe Saunders on the 20th of April, I think that is.
Billy Joe will have to fight someone else then, probably.
Yeah, he's fighting somebody for the vacant belt, but the person's come out and said, I've no vacated that belt.
Yeah, what I'm trying to say, he'll have to fight either someone else or he'll have to move back down to middleweight.
Yeah, but he can't go. If he goes down to middleweight, he'll not get the fight against Andrade.
Yeah, that's the bad thing.
Another fight. This is what I mean. Like, Billy Joe Saunders is making bad decision after bad decisions, man. I mean, like, you know, Frank Warren fighters, man. Look,
do you know what it was? Do you know why he made that decision to move up to 168?
Why?
Because, right, see if he was fighting Andrade, now he's not the champion, right? He would have had to take a split. He would have got 20% of that, right?
Yeah.
20% because he would have been travelling for it. Probably it would have been in America.
Yeah.
So instead of taking a 25% split off Andrade, he would get a 50-50 split on his own terms against somebody for a vacant belt. And once he's at 168, he knew that he could make the fight against Eubank. So his plan is to try and get that belt at 168 and make a fight against Eubank.
Yeah, can I say something before? Because I got to jump off. I was just going to... Again, feedback. Yeah, I was just going to say...
So before you go, I just want to go in the chat quickly. Aob's saying, I can see Conman Fury coming. I never believed his mental health story. He got popped and created a story. It says, AJ loses. If AJ loses and British boxing is finished, no prospects coming through. Kelly, Okoli, Conlan, Yard, all getting beat.
That's a good point.
You know, I think there's some good prospects there. Like Lawrence Okoli, look, he's boring fighter, but I think he's talented. Anthony Yard.
Huh? Do you know the best British prospect, and nobody cares about him? And it's not even Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor's got a stablemate called Lee McGregor. He's 5-0. He's 22 years old. He's the IBF Youth Champion bantamweight, and he's the Commonwealth bantamweight champion.
What's his name?
Lee McGregor. A 22-year-old Scottish turned pro, signed with McGuigan's. He won the Commonwealth belt quicker.
I think I seen him fight on one of the McGuigan undercard.
Like, absolute amazing talent. There's loads of talent out there. And that's the thing. Because I'm not signed to Matchroom, and I don't think there's other great fighters like Jack Bateson. He fights under his dad's promotion. But he's definitely on course for world champion as well. There's loads. Because they're not on Matchroom or on BT, there's thousands of there's loads of good prospects who'll go to the top.
Yeah, but that's the thing though, because the problem is, it's like anything. You start at the lower leagues, and then eventually you have to work your way to the big leagues, and that's when you're going to get the opportunities. Do you know what I mean? Like, yes, you can get the opportunities by working on a smaller scale, but then it's going to take longer for you to get to that level. Do you know what I mean?
It doesn't even, like Lee McGregor, because he's with Cyclone and Barry McGuigan. They've got a TV deal with Channel 5, so he'll fight twice a year on Channel 5, and he'll make good money. He'll fight for Channel 5, and that'll give him good enough. He'll never fight bums. He'll defend that Commonwealth belt and then aim for a world title.
Yeah, so
I mean,
I'll be looking out for this Lee McGregor guy. Anyways, bantamweight, you say, yeah?
Yep.
I
Oh,
mean,
okay.
Matchroom do have prospects like Conor Ben, Joe Cordina, but you know what they're gonna do? They're just gonna progress them slowly. I was just gonna say, on the schedule, Canelo Jacobs is probably the only fight since the turn of the year, since it's been announced. I think it's like the biggest fight, and it's one of the only few fights I've looking forward to, and that was, the one we wanted, we got, because that's a unification. That's arguably the best fight that could have been made at 160 and is being made. The other fights, none of them are being made, like I was saying, Mikey and Loma, Spence Crawford, or Joshua Wilder, or even at 154. We wanted to see one of the unifications here. And I think this is the only fight. I know there's another big fight between Mikey and Spence, but that's viewed as a mismatch. This is probably the only fight. Would you agree that is a really big fight, and hopefully it does good numbers? Because
It's a
I
great fight.
think, I think it'll help because Joshua and Wilder, if they're gonna fight, they're gonna DAZN or whatever, they're gonna need good viewers. Because if politics comes into play again and they want it on DAZN, then DAZN is gonna need subscribers. But this is the only fight that I think that's really that I would give it like a 5-star. Like this is the best fight I think on the schedule, and we're almost approaching June, July, and it doesn't look like there's any big fights. So I'm really
Nah,
looking
it's pretty
forward to
poor,
it.
isn't it? It's pretty poor. Do you know? Does
Yeah.
anybody else think that Canelo's? Like, I know he's always had a massive brand. Like, obviously that shows where the deal got with his own. But does anybody else think that Canelo's brand and his actual name has grown massively? Like, I think considering Canelo's age, like Canelo's on course to be an absolute superstar. Like,
I think
his
le-
profile's grown massively.
I mean, when you look at what he's earning compared to, Floyd. Let's look at Floyd Mayweather's projection compared to Canelo. Canelo's already making like it took Floyd Mayweather to 32 years of age. What Canelo's making the same amount of money, at 27, 28. Do you know what I mean? So as long as Canelo keeps on winning.
He makes $200,000 a day, doesn't he?
Huh?
Is he on $200,000 a day or something? He's on.
Yeah. So that's
On a
some
basis of
serious.
1.4 million a week.
I can't believe that fight's not a pay-per-view, man. That's like a huge fight.
What
It's
fight's
not
that? What fight's that?
Canelo Jacobs. It's not pay-per-view in the UK, but in America.
What do you guys think of I'll check out Aob's in the chat quickly. Aob saying Dubois needs time to develop. He doesn't need to fight anyone for 18 months. He's not ready. Like Dubois is a young talent. He's like 21 years of age. This guy don't need to fight no one serious for another 4 years at least. He could continue fighting and developing his game for the least another 4 years. When he's 25, 26, then he can go ahead and fight, and he can fight at the top. So if he carries on progressing well, he could be at the top level for at least 10 years, 15 years. Do you know what I mean? So
that's the thing, though. He needs to get that fight with Gorman out of the way, because see, at the end of the day, like, Dubois was scheduled to go to Tokyo next year and fight for Team GB. So he's not getting fast tracked. Frank said that he expected him to turn pro in 2020, and then he would have fast. But he's already and people.
You might lose to Gorman though. That's the risk. I don't think they want to.
See, the fact that actually Gorman and Dubois going in there, they're not fighting ex-world champions, but they're fighting ex-contenders. To do that at their age, like, you can't go fight against somebody who's fought at world level and then not be pushed forward now. So
this is why I call
bad.
This is why I call bad matchmaking by Frank Warren, because if you match these two, these are good prospects, heavyweight prospects. If you match them up right now, this is the similar situation with James DeGale and George Groves. You match these guys up when they're young, in their prime. If one person loses, that sets them back big time. Yes, James DeGale came back and he won a world championship belt. Yes,
he
came
5
back.
years.
But
5 years.
This is the thing, though. This is the thing, you know yourself, Edge. The fact that Daniel Dubois and Gorman are beating ex-world champions means that they're automatically becoming highly ranked or too high ranked. They can't become that high ranked and no be fighting against somebody the same age in Britain. They've already ordered that fight. The British Boxing Board ordered that, and Frank never made it. They said they weren't making it. So now, but the next time they order that, like, they have to take that fight. You can't be top 10 ranked in the world, which they'll be if they keep fighting against the likes of Castano and who else have they been fighting? They'll keep fighting against decent ranked people, and if you beat the people, they'll end up top 10 ranked all the board. And if they're not fighting each other, that they need to do it when they're young. Because if they lose, if Gorman gets beat, Gorman will just go back to fighting some other people. He'll no step back to fighting against journeymen. He'll still fight against contenders.
Yeah, but it's a gamble for both of them, though. That's what I mean. If you're fighting him at this early stage, then like if I was Frank Warren, I'll be saving this fight for later on down the track. They fight, continue fighting contenders and fighting people, and then when they get big enough, then they could do it. Because if you put this Gorman, let's say you put Gorman into one pay-per-view.
That's where you have the rematch. That's where you have the rematch. There's a rematch in there, isn't there? You've got two young fighters just now. Why not make the fight just now? And one of them gets that push that they need to know.
Yeah, but then the best example you can look at Billy Joe Saunders and Chris Eubank Jr. They went and fought. Were back in when he was young, and then Chris Eubank lost. Look how long it's taken him to get into a world title fight. He ain't even had a world title fight yet.
I disagree with that.
But he went to the World Boxing Super Series.
I think that helped.
Eubank wasn't even the best in Britain, and he managed to get into that.
No, but he has fought for.
Yeah, but like his name is getting him where he needs to go. His name. If he was like Chris Castano or Chris Robinson, and he fought Billy Joe Saunders and lost, he would be struggling right now to get into world title contention. He would be.
No, but he did well in that one.
His name is getting him into these positions right now. That's his name.
No, but I'm saying that was a close competitive fight. He did well. Like he hadn't fought anyone.
Yeah, but like, so was the girl. The girl was as close and Groves was a close fight, and the girl was fighting in leisure centers afterwards.
But the girl was Olympic gold medalist. He completely disappeared off. Like he went on. I mean. That's the point I'm making. Eubank started headlining pay-per-views. He started fighting guys that were ex-world champions. The girl was fighting guys were relatively unknown. I think he fought like a European.
And look at Anthony Joshua versus Dillian White. When Anthony Joshua fought and Dillian White early on in his career, Joshua won. He went on to fight for world championship belt, and Dillian White was back fighting at undercards, fighting in this, and it's only now, how many years later. Now he's starting to become main event and becoming pay-per-view. But look how long it takes you to get back to that level once you've lost at the early stage of your career.
If you don't take risks, you
can't have Gorman. You can't have Gorman and Dubois in your stable. Both of them climbing the rankings, fighting every time Dubois beats somebody. Gorman fights him next, then Gorman fights somebody, then Dubois will have him next. You can only do that for so long though.
Yeah, that's a
They're
good
getting
point.
into double-digit fights now. Like Dubois is going to be fighting for a world title.
Yeah, but
he's no choice. It's going to be.
You got to take risks.
Yeah, but Dubois only had 9 fights. Like you can't compare these dudes to Anthony Joshua. Like Deontay Wilder fought how many fights before he fought 30 fights before he fought for a world title. Like Dubois only in his 9th fight. And he's 21 years of age. This guy is a baby, mate. Do you know what I mean?
Chisora fought for his world title in his 16th or 17th fight, though. Do you know what I mean?
Chisora, what? When he fought Klitschko, you talk about?
Yep. He fought Tyson Fury in his 14th fight. When him and Fury fought, both of them were 14-0.
Yeah, but that wasn't for a world title.
No, then he
fought
beat
Klitschko 2 fights later.
Then he got beat Hellenius and he fought somebody and beat him, and then he fought Klitschko.
Yeah,
so
okay.
You're talking 16, 17 fights but I'm not talking about Dubois fight Gorman, then the next fight a world title. That's only going to get them the British title.
But this is what I mean, though. This is
2-3 fights, and then you look at making your way in the top 5. Like that's 2-3 years down the line still for them.
Yeah, but this is what. Okay, if you want to make them fight, like do it when they're like at least before they fight for a world title. So you can do it where like they're 9. Look, he's 9-0 right now.
What's he gonna learn? What's he gonna learn if you're gonna put him in with guys that are no hoopers?
Yeah, but then what's he gonna learn if you what is he gonna learn if you're gonna put him in with What are you going to learn if you're going to put him in against the world? Like, let's look at the champions right now.
But
Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder. Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder, and Tyson Fury. Are you saying that? Look,
put him in. No one said put him in. Put him in with Gorman. What's wrong with putting him in with Gorman? Gorman's not world class.
Yeah, but that's okay. Let's look at this then. You be in Gorman's shoes and you be in Dubois' shoes. If you're Gorman or Dubois and they present you with this fight, say, look, this fight at the end of the year, would you take it?
Yeah, of course. Why not? Like, if he's gonna fight other guys, he's going backwards. The thing is this: the Gorman is not ranked that high. Like he's not a top 10 heavyweight, so I don't see the fuss.
Gorman is. By the way, Gorman's quite highly ranked for the WBC. By the way, because he holds the WBC, he holds the silver version of the belt that Herkovich holds.
Oh,
He
yeah,
beat
no,
Mohamed
I was
Sow
talking
for it,
about.
so he holds a ranking with the WBC. But this is the other thing as well. Do you know in an 8-month period last year, Dubois went for fighting DL Jones for the Southern area to fighting Kevin Johnson 8 months later, and in between that he won the English heavyweight title fighting Little. No, it shows you when you're going Southern area English level, then Kevin Johnson, and now he's scheduled to fight Castano.
That's a step backwards.
And also, let's remember that Castano was the same guy that fought Ortiz just under a year ago.
And Parker, that's what I mean. He's fought at world level. That's why they're good. So,
That's not a bad matchup. That's not a bad stay busy fight. But after that, I would like to see him fight someone like Castano. But I don't see the rush though. I do agree. I'm not saying put Dubois in with guys like Pulev or guys like that or any of the top 10. Like I think he still needs at least a good 2 years before he's even thinking about stuff like that. Like if you compare him to Joe Joyce. I know Joe Joyce has had less fights, but obviously Joe Joyce is Olympian and he's way older. Like Dubois is still only 21. He needs time to grow. But if they present him,
Nathan Gorman is 21 in the WBC rankings.
Yeah.
Okay, I was talking about
Daniel Dubois is 28.
I was talking about like not independent rankings, like say the Ring Magazine. Or I don't think he's anywhere near the top 10 there, but he might be.
The Ring Magazine, you won't be in the top 10 of the Ring Magazine because if you're 21 and 28 in the WBC, then if you're combining them all, I'm thinking that in the worldwide, then he will be like at least in the top 50 tops.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. He's not a top 10 heavyweight, but independent rankings, yeah, he might be closing in on the top 10 or whatever rankings, but I don't think it's that bad of a step up, man. I don't think Gorman is that big of a jump. Like if he starts fighting guys in the top 10 or top 20, the world rankings, then that might be a big step up. At the moment, I think they need to give him time because he's still quite young.
Yeah, so so Nathan Gorman is ranked internationally, is ranked number 23, and also in the UK he's ranked number 6 in the world as a heavyweight. So he's ranked number 6.
Before I go, I just want to say, what do you guys think of Triple G? Because that's one thing that still hasn't been announced, isn't
it? Triple G, it looks like it's a done deal with PBC. It's going to be announced soon.
DAZN or PBC?
I mean, sorry, not PBC. Sorry, DAZN is going to happen. So, when
he get his own dates? Is this true that Triple G has got his own promotion company who'll have dates on DAZN as well? So he'll do his own shows and have a couple of dates.
Yeah. So that's part of the deal. He's going to have.
So he's no signing for Eddie or Oscar.
No. He's signing his own deal. He's leaving 360 and K2 and he's gonna be doing his own Triple G promotions. So that's what it's like.
Do you know when Wilder fought against Tyson Fury?
Yeah.
Do you know who promoted that fight? See if you listen to the beginning when the announcers.
It's Wilder Promotions.
That's the first time he's ever promoted a fight ever. So what's the chances of him going to DAZN and fighting for DAZN on his own promotion for a fight?
I doubt it. I mean, like, this is a rare. This is I doubt it because the look. I don't know. It could happen. Deontay Wilder could say, "Look, you want me to come onto the platform? Give me dates, give me fights." But it's very difficult, time consuming, and it costs money. You know, you have to think of it as well. It's like you're starting up your own business. You're gonna have Deontay Wilder has to sign his own fighters, put money out of his own pocket to pay these fighters, sort out the dates, venues, costs. He has to hire a team of people.
Doesn't he?
He
already does that. Bella, that's why Lodebella's hired for him.
Yeah, but it's different though it's different though because when you're on your own promotion, you're kind of piggybacking off another promotion. It's like when Floyd Mayweather Promotions first started, it wasn't Floyd Mayweather Promotions as it is now. It was Floyd Mayweather Promotions piggy banking off Golden Boy Promotions. So it's not so Golden Boy was doing the legwork, and that's the same thing what Eddie was saying. Eddie was saying if it's Triple G Promotions, then Matchroom is going to help with the legwork in regards to the Triple G Promotions as part of the deal. So it's not going to be Triple G going to be all hiring his own, because that's going to cost a lot of money. You have to think about it for a second. You know, he's going to have to hire a team. He's to hire people for venues, bookings, signings, lawyers. You know, he has to do all that. And plus,
but that's why you get dates and money for it. That's why they pay him that. That's why they give him dates and money to organise the dates. The same as they give Eddie money. They give Eddie money and say, you've got so much to do me 5 dates. They gave Oscar so much to do dates. They'll just give Triple G so much to do so many dates. The same as Oscar.
But the deal that he's got, the budget that Golden Boy has and the budget that DAZN have is different. He's not got the budget, so he's not going to be getting the Golden Boy deal. Do you know what I mean? I heard that he's gonna get 4 dates tops. He's gonna get 4 dates tops, and he hasn't even got any fighters yet. He hasn't even signed anybody yet. Do you know what I mean? It costs money to do it, and he has to focus on his own career. Like, do you know what I mean? It's gonna be difficult. When Klitschko did their own promotional company, you know, only when they pretty much Vladimir retired, then they started signing fighters. Do you know what I mean? Because it takes time. You have to manage. It's like look at Dillian White. He has to, you know, he hasn't signed any fighters. But he's managing fighters. But it takes time out of his day and he's still active. Do you know what I mean? He's still got his career to think about. So it's very difficult unless you're Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua is probably, or Canelo Alvarez, technically, they are the people that has enough money and enough resources to do their own promotional company, because they're making loads and loads of money, and they could afford to do it on a scale. But look, who knows? Because when this deal is going to be announced soon, so when this deal is announced, you know what? He might be taking a long time just because he's trying to sign fighters, and when he does this announcement, he wants to have fighters already signed. So that's why it could be taking long for him to do this announcement. So we just don't know. But look, it's only time will tell. I just don't think he needs to focus on himself first, rather than focusing on doing the whole branding thing.
I just they hadn't said nothing what he was doing, and you think it's a long time for he fought. Canelo's had 2 fights.
Yeah. It's been a long time, but I think, look, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, because, I mean, this is the only reason why I would think he's taking so long. If he's doing Triple G Promotions and it's going on to DAZN, he might be thinking, okay, let me sign fighters, let me do this, let me do that. So when I launch and say, look, I'm doing my own promotional company, then I got fighters signed with me already. Do you know what I mean? That may be why it's taking longer than normal. Who knows?
Could be.
Yeah.
Loads of DAZN's got loads of dates now. DAZN are filling up their calendar.
They've got tons of dates. It's going to be a clash. It's going to be a problem now. There's going to be situations where there's already going to be fights happening on the same night. 2 fights happening on the same night. It's going to, remember what happened in December time? You had 2 fights happening at the same time. You had 1 fight happening in America, 2 fights happening in the same time on the States, both pay-per-views. Do you know what I mean? It's going to get ridiculous soon. There's going to be too much boxing. Too much. You know,
but DAZN put a lot of boxing on a Friday night. They had a lot of Friday night cards, so they don't need to compete yet.
Huh?
DAZN, a lot of DAZN cards have been Friday night.
Yeah.
In America, so they don't compete. But it's the same with, do you remember when people were saying, oh, DAZN don't want to buy Dillian White fight?
Yeah.
Right, can you remember? ESPN's got a deal with BT. So that night, BT were showing Frampton versus Warrington, which meant that was on ESPN in America. So
yeah.
It wasn't, DAZN didn't have to put a fight on to compete with that.
Yeah. I mean, this is you know,
so like Showtime bought that, and then Showtime showed that fight the same time as ESPN showed a fight.
So that's the thing. This is the thing, because you know it's gonna be, look, you're gonna try and do, you know, even I think Golden Boy was trying to do Wednesday night fights, so they're gonna try and do fights at different times and play around with it. But it is gonna become a problem really, because you know, if you're gonna do it different days and you're not drawing as much as you would do on a normal Saturday night, then eventually somebody's gonna lose out. So it's only a matter of time before we find out what's gonna happen. So you know, we have
You're
to
not
wait.
losing, though. That's the thing. DAZN are guaranteeing money. DAZN guaranteed Eddie £125 million for so many dates, and Eddie said that he would give 4 pay-per-view dates. And so far, this will be the first one. Would you say that AJ versus Muller is going to be one of Eddie Hearn's pay-per-view worthy nights? That's it, innit?
That's pretty much any pay-per-view. I mean, in regards to pay-per-views, I mean, it's good. I mean, it's good in the sense of we're not paying pay-per-views as much as it was. Because, like, when we think about it, I think this is the only pay-per-view he's doing this year so far. Whereas in the States, you've already got 3 pay-per-views at £75, $75. So, you know, I mean, when you're comparing it, then yeah, the pay-per-view model. I'm not happy with the pay-per-view model, anyways. So I'm happy that if there's less pay-per-views, the better. But
no, but we remember last year I was expecting to have Crawler versus Loma on pay-per-view. But
Crawler versus what? Loma versus on pay-per-view? Nah, that's not gonna happen.
No, but Eddie said that he was going to bring that to Britain. That would have been pay-per-view. Eddie said, but that ended up agreeing, and that's going to be in America. But that would have been pay-per-view. Yeah,
I mean that's the thing. Like Eddie Hearn, man, like he said, like Brett he's saying purse bids, but so far he's lost on purse bids. So far, he lost to BT Sport. He's lost to ESPN. You know, so far he's losing purse bids. Like can you remember the last purse bid that Eddie Hearn has won?
Can I remember? I can't, but I can remember somebody telling me what it was. It was I can't remember, but do you remember the whole Pulev thing? This is the thing that got me right. Eddie Hearn, the first thing for Pulev was Pulev versus Muller. Remember?
Yeah.
And Muller's team put a bid in, and then people saying Eddie Hearn, what about that? And Eddie Hearn was like, "Oh no, Muller had a 3-fight deal with me, and that's finished now, so I'm nothing to do with Muller." And then he lost it. But then 2 weeks after that, he signed Muller for DAZN.
Yeah,
I can't remember the last time. Somebody told me the last time he won a purse bid, it was nothing spectacular. By the way, he did win it. I can't remember but
because I remember him saying purse bids, but he hasn't really won any purse bids since. Like, oh, the only purse bid he win. Yeah, actually, I tell a lie. No, but Kell Brook versus Spence. I mean, how long ago was that? That was 2017, wasn't it?
No, that they agreed that never went to purse bid. They agreed.
Yeah, that never went purse bids. Actually, the last purse bid that Eddie Hearn won actually was Andrade and Saunders. That was the last.
No,
purse bid.
That never went to purse bid either.
Oh yeah, it didn't go purse bid, didn't it? Did it not?
No.
Wait.
MTK
Oh yeah, went to a deal. Yeah, they did a deal.
No, you've got. When did Eddie Hearn last win a purse bid? Herbie Hyde. It was Herbie Hyde.
Herbie Hyde. How far back are we going here? God damn it!
No, I'm joking. No, he must have won a purse bid since then. Oh, but do you know what I found out? Here's one for you. Check this. Do you remember when Kid Galahad fought for the IBF final eliminator?
What's that?
Can you remember when Kid Galahad fought for the IBF final eliminator? He fought on the undercard of the Boo Boo, his fight that Billy Joe Saunders should have been on. But do you know, if you check the records for that, see the purse bid for that? Frank Warren won that purse bid for £40,000, but for some reason it was on Eddie Hearn's card. If you check that out, Frank Warren won the purse bid at 40 grand for that.
For which one was that? Which one was that?
Kid Galahad versus, can't remember the guy's name. It was for the IBF final eliminator.
Oh, okay. Yes. He won the.
Frank Warren won that.
Why would Frank Warren win that bid? Because he wasn't a Frank Warren fighter.
No, wasn't it? No.
Oh, okay.
There was Eddie Hearn never made a bid for it. Frank Warren bid 40 grand and won it. But then it appeared on the undercard, which should have been the Billy Joe Saunders card, and Billy Joe Saunders got popped and didn't fight. But Kid Galahad fought.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
It was strange. Eddie Hearn never even bid on that final eliminator for his own fighter. He never even bid on it, Eddie Hearn.
Yeah. I mean, that's very strange. I mean, I'm gonna. Yeah, do you know what? Like, someone needs to interview him. Like, share this video out, guys. Eddie Hearn needs to someone needs to interview Eddie Hearn and say, why have you been losing all your purse bids? Why are you not bidding for purse bids?
Somebody just. There's only one question I want somebody to ask Eddie Hearn because I want to see it put his mouth right. Because I've heard one person talk about it, and that was Glenn McGrory, right?
Yeah.
I want somebody to ask Eddie Hearn, every time there's a pay-per-view fight in Britain, what percentage of the pay-per-view, just the pay-per-view money, every time I pay 20 quid, if 1 million people buy a pay-per-view and it's £20, there's £20 million, how much does Sky and Matchroom keep of that before they get any of the fighters? I want to know. I'm telling you right now, right, you ready?
Yeah.
My guess is 60%, 60, 6-0.
Okay,
right?
okay.
Well, just somebody ask Eddie, because he's straight up, he'll tell you. Do you know what I mean? He'll tell you straight up, you know, like you. Just ask him. Anybody. I've tweeted him, messaged him, you know, tell me.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's 50% because I heard him swear. I swear I heard him say 50%.
No. I heard Sky keep 50% plus Matchroom keep 10.
Yeah. So what? No, but I thought that's the question, right? What does the fighters get, or what does the networks get?
Yeah, how much does Eddie keep and how much does Sky? Because see if there's a fight every time AJ fights and there's 1 million pay-per-views, there's 20 million in that pot, right?
Yeah.
AJ keeps 10 of that, right? And he keeps the gate, say, or whatever. So Sky. So see if AJ's fighting twice a year, Sky get 20 million for AJ, and then they get 10 million off of Dillian White. So Sky made 30 million last year. They should be investing that back into boxing because we're already paying a subscription. They're making it off us at 30 million. They should put that back into your cards on Saturday night, but they're not. I don't mind paying pay-per-view, but they need to put some of the 30 million they're making a year back into boxing. They're not putting that in on the shit cards we're getting on a Saturday night.
Yeah, but this is where the conflict of interest happens because Eddie Hearn is with the Zone, and this is the problem. This is the problem that we're having right now. You're seeing it now. We're seeing because if Eddie Hearn wasn't with the Zone, Anthony Joshua will be fighting in the UK. You know, Callum Smith will be fighting in the UK. All these fighters that will be fighting in the States right now will be fighting in the UK. Usyk will be fighting in the UK. But right now, because it's under pressure with the Zone to put fights on the Zone, all the best fighters and the top fighters are fighting on the Zone in the States.
Yes, but people only realising, people don't realise, right, every month you give Sky £40 for normal Sky, right, and then you give them a pay-per-view, you give them £60 a month, right?
Yeah.
So, and out of that 60 million, they every time 60 million a year they're making just on pay-per-view, they keep, like, if they gave Eddie £30 million of that and said put on 10 good cards at £3 million a card, he could put on a cracking card every month that's pay-per-view worthy in Britain.
But this is where we need someone to interview Eddie Hearn and find out how much money is it you guys are making, how much money you're getting from Sky, and how much of that can you put towards fat talent and fighters and put it on a card, a good decent card as well.
I don't think it's Eddie who's robbing us. I think it's Sky. I think Sky are keeping too much out the pay-per-view.
I mean, it's difficult because, you know, Eddie Hearn they're signing Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn has the fighters, and the fighters are going on the Zone. So, but like I said, when he's doing the bids on the fights, then he's using Sky money. But at the same time, Sky wants to have good fights on their platform. So I don't know which is doing which. EJ Boxing Live is saying Eddie's playing games again. You know he's behind this, sending Okoli after White. Come on, man. EJ Boxing is trolling, man. Eddie Hearn ain't getting Okoli after White. You know Okoli would die, even though we saw that sparring footage. We saw that sparring footage, by the way, but yeah.
But like we said, who can Dillian White possibly fight next that's going to be pay-per-view in Britain that people are, unless he fights Wilder or Brazil, who's going to lap that up? He needs to be fighting somebody. For the last 2 years, he keeps saying, I need to be fighting for a world title, everybody's cheating me. And then he's refusing to fight for a world title all the time. It only lasts so long.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, watch this space, man. But anyways, I'm going to be going off now because it's been 2 hours. I'm going to be doing another show on Thursday. Actually, you know what? I might even do another show tomorrow. It just depends. If any good topics are happening tomorrow, I might just do a show tomorrow and just talk about it, you know, depending on what's happening. If any boxing announcements or any fight announcements happen, if Wilder vs Brazil gets announced or Triple G, I might do a show about it.
No, I think the WBO will announce tomorrow something about Dillian White. been mandatory for AJ. I think that's going to get announced real
Yes.
soon. Real soon. The fact that Junior Fa fought for his belt means that he's going to be fighting. They can only be took off. They can only take that belt off you if you're fighting for a world title.
Yeah. Junior Far, he fought on Saturday, didn't he? Was it Saturday he fought?
Yeah, he fought for Dillian White's international belt. So
yeah. Oh, okay. So yeah, so
And-
he's Junior Far. All right, yeah. So okay. So do you have any final words? I should play some music. Boom. Boom.
or just a message to Dave Allen. Lucas Brown's coming to get you.
Lucas Brown is coming to get you. All right, yeah. So all right. So I'm gonna say my final words. This is the end of the show, guys. Another great show. Thanks for AA Boxing and Blunts for coming on, joining the show. And also thanks for Hamed for doing his cameo appearance as well. Thanks for the people in the chat. EJ Boxing, Obs in the chat. It's been great. If you're liking the show, hit that like button. If it's the first time you're watching that show, hit that subscribe button so you can watch the shows. We're doing shows on the regular. Anything you want me to talk about, let me know, and we're gonna talk about it. Thanks, guys. Until next time. Peace out.